Welcome everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a life and love transformational coach and founder of Single in Stilettos. Today we have a very special guest, Antia Boyd, and she's a magnetize the man expert, and I'm super excited to have her here today because today she's going to tell us the number one thing holding you back from the right relationship. Before we jump into it, though, Antia, I would love for you to tell people, how did you become a dating coach?
Well, Suzanne, I grew up in an emotionally absent household where my mom was not telling me I love you or giving me a hug. And as a consequence, I really became misindependent and created quite a conflict inside of myself that was reflected back to me when I attracted men into my life, also known as emotionally unavailable men. Because they were conflicted and so was I. So lots of workshops and seminars and UC Berkeley education later, I met my amazing man. And, you know, because of all this education I've done, that's why I really believe that's really what you need that makes the transformation.
That's amazing. That is such a great story. Well, so what is the number one thing that is holding women back from having that right relationship?
Ready?
Yeah.
Wanting to be right. So what I see so many single successful women do is they want to be in control. They want to make sure they create enough certainty because they grew up in an environment where they had to put on the pants for whatever reason. You know, dad was an alcoholic or mom was codependent or whatever. And so they were like, you know, I need to be right because when I'm right, I can rely on that. I can't rely on anyone else other than myself, right? So guess what? What happens in dating is, you know, they attract someone into your life that's maybe, you know, it looks a little different than what they thought it would look like. And they're like, no, I'm right. He's a cheater. You know, all men are cheaters. Or I'm right. You know, he's not going to take care of me, right? And I'm like, well, I always say, you know, like the success of a single woman ending up in a relationship is directly proportional to her willingness to be wrong, right? So I always say, well, let me ask you this. You know, when I take in my women, when I do my intake, I always say, like, it's very important, you know, how willing are you to be wrong? And so asking yourself truly what that is for you in dating. You know, are you willing to be wrong about an assumption that you made about a man? And maybe it's something that, you know what I mean, you kind of have to admit, you're like, you know what, like, I was wrong, you know, I apologize, or I just acknowledge that if you don't like apologies. But, like, how willing are you to have the picture be different and the people to be different than what you thought or you assumed they would be? And of course, what comes with that, with being wrong, is also, you know, just kind of like a level of vulnerability, because when I'm wrong, I don't know. I'm in the unknown. I'm in the uncertainty. And so if I have a story because I did, you know, graduated magna cum laude or whatever, and I'm like, I rely or I need to know, right? Then that's not going to go over so well either, right? So it's really like looking at how willing are you to not know? And just say, you know, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if he's a great guy or not. I don't know if it's going to be a good date or not. Let's see. Let's see what happens. So that's my last point to make when it really comes to looking at what is that number one, you know, most triggering point, most friction point that keeps you from really attracting that right relationship into your life.
So would you say, this is great, I love this, I love that you brought this up, because do you think that it's important for women to do the work before they actually go out on the date? Because if they have those negative beliefs about, oh, all men are cheaters or there aren't any quality men, do you think that they should do some pre-dating work first?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, there's actually two kinds of women in the world. There's actually a kind of woman who really does all of her work and then she meets her man right away. And then there's women who learn in the dating phase, right? Because they need reflections that they can bounce off, right? And they're like, ooh, that energy didn't land so well. Ooh, I got some feedback here from that guy. That wasn't, you know what I mean? He felt a little emasculated or something, right? So yeah, so depending on the woman, but in general, I recommend that because then you don't even have to deal with any uncomfortable reflections and feedbacks that you get back from the outside world, and go right away into a date differently. Because think about it, right? If you go into a date and you're like, you know what, I got to just make sure that he's not a cheater, and I got to make sure that he's not, you know, a mama's boy and all that stuff, then I have already all my filters on and I can't see anything. Right? So it's helpful to have the dating knowledge ahead of time and be like, you know what? I have no idea. You know what I mean? I'm just going to have a great time. I'm just going to be present. I'm just going to be my feminine. And I'm excited because I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like and what it's going to bring. So absolutely, I think so.
And that, you know, it's funny what you brought up is all of those filters, and it's true. And we as strong, independent women always like to be in control and like have to know the outcome, right? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow, and that's how things happen organically. Like I hear a lot of women say, well, how do you just meet someone organically? Just go with the flow, right?
Oh, 100%. And also allow the man to just be like, hey, let's do something afterwards, you know, and let the man lead and not say, well, I don't like this country, you know what I mean? I don't like where you want to take me. But just, you know, encourage the man to whisk you away. So, and you just like let go and you don't do anything, and just like allow the man to lead, because that's the other piece that comes with that territory, right? Wanting to be in control. Yeah. Not letting them sleep, right?
Yeah, and I think that is difficult for strong, independent women that take the lead at work or they own their own business. And so it's hard sometimes, even though I know a lot of these women want that, sometimes it's hard to kind of sit back and receive and allow the man to take the lead and do those things for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's because they haven't learned the art of transitioning, right? They need to be able to have some sort of anchor when they get home or when they get into their car on their way to the date, something that tells them, I'm now out of work mode and I'm now in love mode or in sexy mode or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like you can give her a nickname. You can have a lot of fun with it.
So would you say, yeah, and I totally agree with that. You have to have some sort of transition that breaks you out of that work mode. That is important into the feminine nature. But like even after the first date, because a lot of strong independent women will ask me this question is like when it starts in the early stages of dating, should she just wait for the man to pursue her then? Or can she reach out and ask him out? What is your take on that? What do you recommend?
It depends on how you want the relationship to continue, right? So we always say how you start a relationship, that's how it continues. So if you would rather have a relationship where the man pursues you and the man says, hey, let's go here, let me invite you there, right? Then I recommend like right away putting that dynamic in place from the get-go. If you don't care, if you're like, you know what, I don't really care if I have to hold down the fort all the time, and if I have to come up with all the ideas, after we get married, then go ahead, reach out, you make all the suggestions. But it's really true. You really said, but there's sort of like this, this point that men are looking for unconsciously, and they reorient themselves around that.
Right. Well, these have been some great tips. So, Antia, I know you have a free gift for the ladies, so can you tell them about it?
Yeah, so for the women who are like, gosh, I just can't break through that, I call it the vulnerability threshold, where really all your knowledge that you have inside of yourself, I know that, is then really beautifully being integrated into your being, which really shows you when you attract the right man for you. So we're looking at that. I invite you to come on a Magnetize the Man Clarity call with me, where we're looking at what are the internal blind spots or internal dialogues that keeping you from breaking through those vulnerability thresholds and becoming aligned and the magnet to the right man for you. So for that, hop on over to magnetizetheman.com, magnetizetheman.com, and grab your slot as long as they last.
Awesome. So thanks everybody for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free video series, The Secrets About Men, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.